that in English-speaking countries, we quite often use sarcasm as a form of humour, and Germans don't really understand this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander who has been living for the last 10 years in Germany. And in this video today, I am going to be responding to some common negative German stereotypes. So no matter what country you are from in the world, there's going to be stereotypes floating around about people from your country. Some of these stereotypes may be true. Some of them may be, kind of true. There may be an element of truth behind them. And then some of the stereotypes may be just completely wrong and just ridiculous. I actually get quite a few questions about German stereotypes and people asking me whether they are true or not, particularly the negative German stereotypes. So in this video, I am going to be 100% honest, and I'm going to respond to some of these stereotypes. So before I start, I just want to make it clear, Germany is a country of over 80 million people. Not all Germans are the same. It would be ridiculous to think that they are. This is just a generalization. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so I did a little bit of Googling, and one of the recurring negative German stereotypes that I found and that I have heard time and time again is that Germans do not have a sense of humor and they're not funny. I actually disagree with this. As somebody who has been living in Germany for a long time now, I have come to realize that for a person to understand German humor, they have to understand the German language. And I'm not talking about just understanding a little bit. To understand the subtleties of German humor, you need to really understand the German language, because German humor is a lot of the time like a play on the German language. It's like a play on words and phrases, and it only makes sense to German speakers, and it does not translate well, especially in English. So just say a German speaker tries to literally translate a German joke into English. Most of the time it falls flat because it just doesn't really make sense. You've just lost that aspect of humor because the German and the English translation is so different. A lot of German humor is revolved around political and social taboos, and Germans love to sort of misuse their own language, and that's something that Germans find super funny, and it actually is funny if you actually understand the joke in German. But I don't know, what I'm trying to say is that German humor and German jokes don't translate very well into English. Also, another thing is that in English-speaking countries, we quite often use sarcasm as a form of humor, and Germans don't really understand this. It's just kind of something that's not really part of German humor, and I remember my husband actually had a hard time with this when he first came to New Zealand. He never knew whether people were joking or not, and so once I kind of explained this to him, and I explained that we use a lot of sarcasm in our jokes, he caught on, and he's cool with it now. He totally understands it. But I had to kind of explain this to him before he kind of got it. So what I'm trying to say is that I definitely think Germans have a sense of humor, just sometimes the German humor style might be a little bit different to our humor style, and sometimes jokes can be lost in translation, as simple as that. Okay, so the next negative stereotype is that Germans are know-it-alls, and they think that they know better than everybody else. And I actually have to say that there is an element of truth behind this, and I'm not talking about all Germans. Obviously, not all Germans are going to be like this, but many Germans think that they know better than you, and they love to tell you. I've talked before about this whole correcting culture here in Germany. So if somebody thinks that you have stated a fact wrong, or if you're doing something that they believe is wrong, they will pull you up on it, and they will have absolutely no problem in telling you what you have done wrong and explaining why you've done that wrong. And it happens often in Germany. Many Germans, I've noticed, just have this overwhelming urge to correct somebody if they feel that they are right and that person is wrong, and they have no problem saying it straight to your face. And so this could be something like you have jaywalked across the road, and you're not meant to do that in Germany. They will tell you you are not meant to do that. So yes, there's definitely that whole correcting culture in Germany. And then I've come across quite a few Germans who believe that they are more educated than you, and they will almost talk down to you in a conversation because because of their level of education. Maybe they have their masters in a certain subject and I've only got my bachelor's, and they will kind of lecture you in a subject, and it's just this whole like I know more than you type thing. And I've noticed this a lot in Germany. Obviously not all Germans are like this, but I've noticed it definitely more than say in New Zealand. Okay, so another negative stereotype about Germans is that Germans are brutally honest, and I have to say that there is definitely an aspect of truth behind this, and I don't necessarily think that it is a negative thing. Maybe the brutal part, like the brutally honest part, could be a little bit too much and sort of perceived as negative, but the honesty in Germans is something I find very refreshing, which I have talked about in many videos before. But yes, Germans are very, very honest, and this is something that is part of German DNA. So if you ask a German a question, you have to be prepared to receive a brutally honest answer. They're going to tell you exactly what they think, whether you like it or not. And so in English-speaking countries, we love to sugarcoat things, especially in New Zealand, and I do talk about this. A lot of times New Zealanders will straight out lie to your face if you ask them a question and they think that their honest answer may offend you. They will straight out lie. So if you say, do I look fat in this outfit? Does this outfit make my butt look big? A New Zealander will say, no, you look amazing, you know, you have like beautiful curves, it looks so great, you know, something like that. And a German will say, no, it doesn't look good. In Germany, they feel like they have to be honest with you, and that is like showing you respect, to be 100% honest instead of lying. And so, for example, I've used this example before, but like with my husband, oh my goodness, we've had so many culture clashes over the subject where he just straight out like will tell me something in all honesty. So I'll ask him something like, does this dress look nice on me? And if he doesn't like it on me, he will say, no, I don't like it, it doesn't suit you. And then I used to get like really upset about his brutal honesty, and he would not understand why I would get upset about something that I have asked an opinion for, and he's just given me an honest answer. And so we would have a lot of these kind of clashes. But after living in Germany for so many years, I just find it so refreshing to just get an honest answer. You know, people aren't beating around the bush, they're not sugarcoating things just to make you feel better. Okay, so the next stereotype is that Germans are not flexible, and I think this can be true, but it isn't always true. So I think a difference between New Zealand culture and German culture is that New Zealanders can be a little bit more sort of relaxed and chilled when it comes to making plans. They'll say something like, oh, I'll come to your place around 8 o'clock. And it's kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter if you're a little bit late or a little bit early. But in Germany, they are just very punctual. You know, if they say they're going to be somewhere at a certain time, they will be there. And I guess that doesn't really mean that they're not flexible, but they wouldn't really like it if somebody turned up late to their place when they've made a plan to meet at 8 o'clock and the person comes at 9. And in New Zealand, people are just like, whatever. So I think in that way Germans can be not very flexible, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's kind of annoying when you make a plan and somebody doesn't turn up at the right time. Yeah, I guess with the inflexibility thing, it's just kind of like Germans like to plan things a little bit more. Like in New Zealand, you could just go over to somebody's house without being invited and that kind of thing, and people are cool with it. It's just a normal thing to turn up at a friend's place without telling them you're coming, and you wouldn't really do that in Germany so much unless you like knew the person really, really well. And it actually has happened before. I've had people just turn up at my house here in Germany, but it's not often that somebody will come over before they have organised it with you. So I guess it's true in a way. Many Germans aren't as flexible as New Zealanders in certain situations, but you know, it's not really a big deal. I don't think it's like so much of a negative thing. So anyway guys, that is all I've got for this video today. I would actually love to make a part 2 responding to some of the more positive German stereotypes like quality, punctuality, tidiness, diligence. There's so many positive German stereotypes out there, so let me know if you'd be interested in a video like that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!